It's the Cup of Mets podcast. I'm Ian Bosniak, and we'll be joined momentarily by Matt DeSantis and Robert Venegas. In today's episode, we'll discuss everything that's gone wrong with the Mets currently, even within a span of the week. Just absolute blow-ups, whether it be Edwin Diaz or offensively at the plate. The Mets just aren't clicking on all cylinders right now, so we'll touch upon that, as well as some of the exciting and encouraging minor league promotions that have currently gone on over the last couple days. But before we get going and dive into all that, make sure to subscribe to us on YouTube, Instagram, and Twitter. We are at Cup of Mets. Also, be sure to hit that follow button, whether it be on Spotify, Apple, or wherever you get your favorite podcasts. And last but not least, be sure to download the SeatGeek app to get $20 off of your first purchase and just use code Cup of Mets. And with that, season 3, episode 8. Here we go. Gentlemen, episode 8. The Mets suck, huh?
Took the words right out of my mouth, Ian.
Yeah, they were about to lose again right now. Is it top 9 in Cleveland as we're recording this episode?
Another one-run performance and, another day in the dark shadows of Queens.
Well, they're in Cleveland right now, but I understand what you're saying. Maddie,
Yes,
Yeah, for
yes,
sure.
another year.
Maddie, how are you?
It's definitely it's just terrific, bro. This team is just an absolute pleasure to watch every day and night. So
Uh,
I'm sure another L is headed into that column tonight.
wait, are you boys watching this game right now?
I'm not.
Rob,
No.
yo, Class A's. I'm like, all right, it's 3-1, whatever. Crazier things have happened. Class A's ERA is 0.39. Game
Yeah,
over.
no, it's filthy. Yep.
Game
Yeah.
over. Well, so yeah, we started off strong there. Obviously, the Mets are not playing well. They're currently 21 and 25, about to be 21 and 26. I hope that I'm speaking something into existence there, but um, listen, the boys are struggling right now, and they're gonna play 2 more in Cleveland. The previous series they lost 2 of 3 in Miami, and then they also lost 1 of 2 in Philadelphia, and then they got swept at home for 2 against Philadelphia. We'll touch upon that in a second. Just a quick note at the major league level, and then some minor league notes. We know that Matt loves to jump all over that. Um, Kodai Senga has been shut down. He was scheduled to continue his rehab assignment, and he had tricep soreness. So therefore, he's been shut down. I have this eerie feeling that we're not going to see him.
Yeah, I think that there's a scenario at this point where we're not playing good and we're out of it at a certain point, and um it would rather just be like pointless to send him out there. Um, Especially if you're trying to think about the long term and the upside in Kadai Senga next year. Probably we might not see him.
Yeah,
No,
whenever
we might not see him. I don't think we see him at all. So again, just to go off your point, Maddie, that like you said, if we're out of it, there's no point in running him out there every fifth day. And 2025 was always the year in Mets fans' eyes. So let's get him ready for them.
it just sucks because obviously it was the shoulder area, and now having tricep, soreness, that's never a good sign because that still connects to your shoulder, therefore also impacts your elbow as well. And the Mets, there was a report that came out that the Mets were still trying to learn how he rehabs because they didn't really have to deal with that much last year. And obviously there's a new regime as well. So not a good note for the Mets. On the flip side, there, Tyler McGill did come back, made his return to the majors tonight after spending quite a bit on the IL with a shoulder strain. He went 5 innings, walked 2, struck out 7. I thought he looked good. Gave up 2 runs as well. Well, 3 runs, 2 of them earned. I thought he looked good. Fastball was pretty decent. He was locating it nicely. He had his breaking pitches working, got some swing and misses. I liked what I saw from McGill, and I think that moving forward with this rotation, McGill is going to be rather important down the stretch if the Mets think that they have any chance in the world as they're down to 2 outs here in the ninth.
Yeah, I mean that was a nice, and he's looked good coming back up uh with rehab starts, and I didn't think he looked that bad tonight. And another guy like a David Peterson who has done I think 5 rehab starts, look good in all of them. He's gonna be another person that gets his name called especially down the line if we're gonna go along and trade guys like Luis Severino, or maybe if a team calls and wants 5 innings a game from Sean Manaea. But we'll see.
Oh yeah, it's crazy when we're talking about Tyler McGill possibly being like that really positive impact because that's never good. No offense to Tyler. This wasn't on the agenda because I do have a few minor league notes to get to, but Mark Vientos was recalled. Point and blank. Obviously, he was hitting in Syracuse, but Brett Beatty sucks. And I said it last episode, boys. I'm low key done with him. He's the last batter here in the ninth for the Mets right now, and he's 0 for 3. Make that 0 for 4 as he grounds out to end the ball game. Mets lose 3-1. But
Perfect.
he had 3 strikeouts right before then. The guy,
And the third one was like the most important.
yeah, the third one was most important. Struck out with what? The bases loaded, correct?
Yeah, bases loaded, 2 outs, down 2 runs. A CNI single scores 2.
Yep. It's a shit
But
show.
no, I mean, and Ian, you kind of hit it on the head last weekend though, or last week, last episode, with Brett Beatty's approach at the plate. He's swinging and chasing and missing a lot, not putting the ball in the air. Even when his hits are base hits, or even when the balls in play are base hits, they're ground ball singles or like a little soft line drive. It's again, I'm about done with him as well. I think Mark Vientos needs to see more time on the field, whether it's DHing or at even at third, and I saw him taking reps at first today. So hopefully he gets more ABs.
Yeah, Brett Beatty is ass, dude. I don't. I really don't have any faith in him as of right now. I'm not really too sure what the best move. I'm starting to think that they should maybe send him down to AAA, let him get some at bats in Syracuse, try and reset, get his mind right. I don't think he's the answer at third base, offensively or defensively. So I remember during the hot stove over the winter, we sat there and we talked like this time next year we're gonna know if we had our third baseman in Beatty or Vientos. And right now it's not looking too promising. We might have to be going third baseman shopping next winter. So
Alex
um
Bregman.
yeah,
Ronnie Mauricio.
Oh boy.
I'd love to see
I mean,
He hits better than Brett Beatty.
I could hit better than Brett Beatty. No, 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 I couldn't.
Nah, you're bugging.
No, I know I'm bugging. I know I'm bugging. Um, I bet you just said Brett Beatty taking reps at first base. Wouldn't it be an ugly scenario for the 2024 Mets if post deadline Mark Vientos or Brett Beatty's over at third base and the others at first base after Alonso's dealt?
Oh my God.
Oh, I just
I
thought about Yeah. I just thought about
if
that.
they're gonna go that route and they're gonna start shipping guys out, then they might as well just start bringing up their guys at AAA that are younger, like Luke Ritter and players
Of
like that.
course.
See what you
Of
got.
course.
Yeah, you see Acuna playing center field the other night? He robbed that home run.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
good.
Syracuse
His
Playing
Mets.
short.
defense, his
He's
defense,
playing
I'm not
short
worried
center
about.
in second.
His defense is filthy. I'm kind of just worried about the bat a little bit. He's batting like 215, 2 home runs, 12 RBIs. I mean, I'd like to see a little more. I want to see Drew Gilbert and Jet Williams come back. We need to get an update on them.
Yeah, well, I do just want to let you know. He's up to 231 on the season with
Okay.
2 home runs, 12 RBIs, 14 stolen bases, but he does have a 606 OPS. So not slugging the ball whatsoever. But
And
yeah, I
he's
mean,
he's definitely not big league led yet.
no, no, he's not. He needs he needs to hit a little bit more at the minor league level, that's for sure. Especially at the AAA level.
Ready next year.
Absolutely. And I think there's a good chance that we could see him in September if the Mets, trade some pieces and, he comes up for a
Mhm.
cup of coffee and, just to see. But obviously that's dependent on how he performs the rest of the season. As we're on the note of Acuna, whatnot, we're going to hop into Maddie's favorite subject here, the minor leagues. And we're going to stay there as the Mets had several promotions over the last couple days. First, Cade Morris, who had an excellent performance for the St. Lucie Mets the other night. He heads to High A Brooklyn. He will join the Cyclones. Two-way player Nolan McLean, who the Mets drafted last year. He's from Oklahoma State. He heads to Binghamton. Again, the two-way player. He'll
Yeah.
continue pitching as well as, slashing. And then a big one here, I'll mention the lesser one first, Ryland Thomas, who's definitely has fourth outfielder written all over him at the major league level if he is if he performs. Ryland Thomas promoted to AAA, but then more importantly, Blade Tidwell. As the Mets have Christian Scott here up in the majors, Dom Hamill could be knocking on the door as well. Blade Tidwell, who was their draft pick 2 years ago, he heads to AAA. Matt, you could touch upon them all. I really don't care. I know that you could talk about this for hours, but which move there is, most eye-opening for you there, and what are you most excited about?
Well, definitely Tidwell. Usually that's usually the hardest test for a pitcher going through the minor league systems, Double A. He more than held his own. I know he only had a 2-4 record, but in the minors, I feel like the sometimes the record isn't really what you're looking for. You're looking at whiffs and strikeouts and walks and more things important than like that. But I think the Tidwell one is a good one. Ryland Thomas is slept on in our system. He can hit the ball. Good, very like you said, fourth outfielder written all over. But my favorite part is how aggressive they're being with. Go
Real
on.
quick. So sorry, my fault. I have a question. That's why I raised my hand
Yeah,
before
yeah.
you get into it. So are you surprised that the Mets are this aggressive early on in the year with their prospects, calling them up, sending them down, whoever? And do you think what do you think this means for the future and for the rest of the season?
I'd say, yeah, I'm very surprised, but we have new leadership in Stearns. I would love to know if Stearns was this aggressive in Milwaukee with his talent. I'd love to look into that a little more before I speak to it. But
Yeah.
I think in terms of these promotions, when you look at them, these guys are like playing well. So like they're not just promoting guys to promote them. Nolan
Gotcha.
McLean
Yeah.
is 22 years old. How much longer are you gonna keep him in fucking high A ball? Realistically, over the past few years, like our farm system has gotten better. Ronald Hernandez, the guy we got from Miami, has mashed the past week.
Yep.
Like 9 RBIs, two homer, two maybe. He's absolutely mashed. So it's gonna be nice. I want to see him turn a corner. Marco Vargas is back in the lineup down there for low A St. Lucie. Um,
How about J-Rod?
he is gonna be such a steal, man.
Oh man.
He's batting like 406 with like a 1200 OPS. Like
Nice.
you want to know what I was thinking the other day? Like he's 17 years old. Colin Huck is 19. They need to like switch spots because like Colin Huck is not good.
No,
He's
dude.
not good.
Yeah, I seen he
His
struggled.
numbers are terrible, man. He is really struggling.
Hmm.
Yeah, he's having trouble adjusting. I mean, it's never an easy thing going from high school to the pros, but again, it for someone with his stick, what he's hitting like what, 120? Is he even hitting 100? Or
Dude,
I think it's I
really
think it's I
no.
think his on base percentage is
He's
like,
hitting ones. He's hitting 165 with an on base percentage of 277. Uh, in 34 games, he has 133 at bats. No home runs, 10 RBIs,
gross.
19 walks to 60 strikeouts, and
Yeah, I was gonna ask how
three
many
stolen
strikeouts.
bases.
Yeah. How many
Even last,
errors? How many errors?
I don't know. This doesn't say. I'm not really in the most advanced
You're,
sighting.
you're not digging. You're not digging. Uh,
Yeah,
you mentioned Luke Ritter before. He's 27 years old.
I know, dude,
He's got
because
an
like
eight. He's got an 850 OPS in Syracuse. He's been slashing the last several years. Last year he had 27 home runs, 64 RBIs, 868 OPS. Last 2 years he's been mashing the ball. Why hasn't he been called up?
what year was he drafted, Luke Ritter?
2019 at Wichita State, round 7.
I remember Wichita, second baseman, but I
Yep.
just forgot
Wichita
which year.
State.
Nah, yeah, he should be when the deadline happens and we send out like I don't know, JD Martinez, one of the only people that have value. Um,
Yeah, he's mashing.
like that's somebody that should be considered. Um, you got to know what you have, and you said he's 27, so better do it now.
Yeah, he's gonna be like the second coming of Jeff McNeil, comes up late and then slashes, maybe. We hope so. To me, quickly, Nolan McLean just excites the shit out of me. I know it's not, we have a once in a lifetime player in Shohei Ohtani going on right now. He's nowhere near that in terms of, you know, just overall game, and no one's near Ohtani, right? But just to have another two-way player that's coming up, going to double A, and he's going to continue doing it just quickly on the season here in 2024 for Brooklyn. He was hitting 224 with 5 home runs, has drove in 13, but had an 849 OPS, 7 doubles as well. And then on the mound, he started 7 games, went 2-2 with a 257 ERA, 36 strikeouts in 28 innings.
Yeah,
I'm
and those are solid numbers. If
Yeah,
very,
you,
those make you raise an eyebrow or two, you know?
I would never put him in the same conversation as Shohei Ohtani or expect anything like
I
that.
know, but
I
you know
think
the reference I was
if
making.
we have like if we have like a solid DH bench bat and he turns out to be like a very good inning reliever, talk about like value.
Absolutely.
It's good value for your team. You have one guy that can do two different positions, pitching and fielding, and I mean pitching and hitting. So we'll see how it plays out.
Yeah. And then just quickly, while I have the numbers up, Blade Tidwell, seven starts this year, 2-4, 241 ERA, 44 strikeouts and 37 and a third of an inning. Cade Morris, who I said is heading to high A. He was 0-3 this year in 6 starts, but at a 363 ERA, 38 strikeouts and 34 and two-thirds of an inning. And then lastly, Ryland Thomas, 323 average and 96 at bats with 6 stolen bases and 13 RBI. So that's just a little minor league synopsis
That's just a
there.
little promotion. That's just the promotions.
Yeah, and those are just the promotions. So,
You got guys like
Matty minor leagues.
Brandon
Thank you, buddy.
Sproat. Brandon Sproat is going to be a freaking ace.
yeah, yeah.
But in terms of guys that I'm worried about in the system, it would be Colin Huck and Parada.
Yeah.
I'd say those are two pretty big whiffs on first round draft picks, and we can't have that, man. We can't
Well,
have
if,
that.
well, if Francisco Alvarez, ligament heals soon, hopefully we won't have to worry about any sort of parada business going
Yeah,
on.
but
The sec
respectfully, though, you wouldn't know, like, if they make the majors, like, you wouldn't know if they're whiffs or not until then, I guess, no? Or, well, if
when
they
it
make
comes,
the majors, first
well,
things first,
yeah,
that's the first goal, but
yeah, but the other thing too is they have to warrant a promotion, right? So if
yeah.
they don't warrant a promotion, then they're going to end up like, granted, he was injured and he also dealt with off the field type of issues when it comes to like anxiety and whatnot. But like Mark Appel, right? He
Mhm.
never performed at the minor league level, dealt with injuries. So obviously you have to warrant a promotion. But Kevin Parada has done nothing thus far offensively
Yeah,
speaking.
yeah, yeah.
And he's more of a bat than anything, we were told. So no bueno there. Do you guys even want to talk about the majors or no?
Not really, honestly.
Yeah.
Not really.
No.
But let's hop into
Well, we
that.
just talked about the positives, we got a good to decent minor league system, got a bunch of promotions. Now we got to talk about the negative, which is the New York Mets, the major
Oh
league
yeah.
team.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. Yep, yep. So the Mets right now,
Gross.
as they fall to the Guardians 3-1. They lose the first game of the series there. As mentioned, lost 3 of 4 essentially to Philly, and then 2 of 3 in Miami to the worst team in baseball. The last game of the series was a decent one for the Mets. They, came back to win, but they never should have given up the lead in the first place. It was an Edwin Diaz blown save. So that one sucked. And then obviously I'll talk about the big elephant in the room, and then we'll get on to, what's kind of beleaguered Mr. Edwin Diaz right now, which is so sad. It really is what's occurring with Sugar. But he gave up a 4-run lead in the ninth. They were up 9-5. Wasn't even a save situation, and he blew the lead. 3-run home run by Josh Bell to tie. Um, so I guess we'll start there. As I said, very sad to see what's going on with Edwin Diaz. 3 blown saves in his last 8 appearances. 4 if you want to include the 4-run blown lead. Rob, I'm going to ask you, outside of confidence, which he has admitted that he doesn't have a lot of right now, and that he's feeling that he's really sad and frustrated with himself. What do you think seems to be the biggest issue from, just the eye test?
Well, I mean, again, like his pitch location and just his stuff in general. His slider looks flat. He throws it over the plate a lot. The location has been an issue um, for both pitches. His fastball velo is still throws 98, 99, but when he tries to throw Edwin Diaz 99, it sails away, or again, he can't get it, and also he's not getting ahead of hitters. Again, his best pitch, which is a slider, isn't working right now. So I think that's where it all lies, to be honest with you. I think his leg is fine. I do think I do think he's healthy. Because if he wasn't, he wouldn't be going out there every time his name is called. But again, I just think his best pitch is not working, and that's a slider. Which leads to, trying to locate his fastball, which he can't do either right now. So this reminds me of 2019 Edwin Diaz, to be honest with you, and I feel bad.
I would tend to agree in terms of Edwin. I think he really turned it around, and I'll always say, fuck letting them play in the. I don't know if going forward I would let them play in the World Baseball Classic.
Oh no, but
I
but
just
it means more. It means more to them than a World Series ring.
Yeah, exactly. And then I feel like in your contracts there should be like, okay, you want to play in the World Baseball Classic, but if you tear your ACL celebrating on the field, like,
Going to a quarterfinal.
yeah,
It wasn't
money
even.
money gets returned back to the team for that year or something like that.
Yeah,
But
it was only
realistically,
because
I
they
think it's
beat the
all in his
Dominican.
head.
It was
Yeah,
only because they beat the DR. That's it. That's the only reason why they were celebrating like that. And I hate to be like that, but like it ruined something that could have been last year. And now, again, I agree with you, Rob. I think the leg is fine. I think it's just mechanics, him trying to get back to the mound after a year off. But at the same time, it is his landing leg. So that's always, I didn't do exactly what Edwin Diaz did to his leg, but I had a big knee injury as well. And I didn't get top notch physical therapy and this and that and the third like Diaz did, but like you feel it. You definitely do feel it. So I can only imagine landing 25 to 30 times in a game plus the 20 to 25 pitches that you throw in the bullpen and then doing it every other day. You know what I'm saying? It's like it's definitely a lot, and it's going to be a transition. I mean, I feel bad. 5.50 ERA, 5.10 FIP, and it's all been essentially over the last several weeks. His Rob, you said locating not well. His walk rate's up, um, and you said it best. The slider to me, he's throwing the slider 59% of the time, and I don't know if it's just me, but the slider almost looks like a cutter. It looks like a hanging cutter that's not even
Yeah,
cutting.
as Keith, yeah, exactly. As Keith Hernandez would say, it's a spinner. So, that's a slider that just stays in like that. And you could see the spin of the slider. It's just a recipe for disaster. And it started from that first hitter against the Marlins when he threw the slider middle, and he roped it for a double. That's when I knew in terms of what was going to happen. Like, I didn't call the blowout or like the explosion of the inning, but I said to myself, he's not, he's not going to get out of it. And lo and behold, they lose 10-9 and 10. So
Do you guys agree with the somewhat of a temporary demotion out of the closer's role?
I think that 100% that the demotion is much needed. I would probably go by committee now with like Reed Garrett, Sean Reed Foley, guys like that, and I would just let it rock, and not have maybe not as frequent throw Edwin Diaz in that position. Maybe if you need him in the seventh, bring him in the eighth. But I agree with the move.
yeah, no, listen, I mean, I hope I don't get any negative criticism when I say this, but I love the committee idea. I really do. You got experience in Jorge Lopez and Adam Ottavino, who were closers in their past years, but I personally think the closer should be Reed Garrett. And the reason why I say that is because he's been nothing but lights out since we've acquired him, since he's been called up to the majors. And honestly, he's still been pitching the same way, regardless of the ERA jump. But I just think his stuff is legit. He's composed. He has that closer mentality in my eyes. But again, the committee idea, I don't hate. I do think that's what they're going to end up doing, but in my opinion, I think Reed Garrett should be the closer.
I agree. I agree. And I love the energy that he brings as well. And, he's having a terrific season as well. And don't mind me if, you're watching on the simulcast. I am on my phone right now. My computer is freezing to say the least. So I'm getting some of my figures from here, but even like a Jake Diekman in certain situations, I wouldn't mind as well. Gave up a run the other day, but still he's been pitching well, which is much needed. Adam Ottavino, over his last 7 games, he does have a 5.40 ERA, but over his last 15, it's 2.35. His ERA is dipped below 3 on the year. Has struck out 26 batters in 18 and a third of an inning. So I'd also go Adam Ottavino. There's definitely, and Jorge Lopez as well. He has back end experience in addition to those other guys. So there are guys and players that the Mets can go to when it comes to filling the role that, Edwin Diaz, held. What type of situations would you put him in? Because obviously Mendoza thought that a 4-run lead was cushioning enough, right, to put Diaz into the game the other day, and he blew that. So what type of situations do we use him in then? Blowouts, and there's not many.
You're using I mean, at this point, you're using him in, say it's the seventh, maybe even the seventh, eighth inning, and the score's still like 0-0. You're gonna pitch him then. You're not gonna totally ditch the guy that you're paying $21 million a year for. So that's my point of view on Edwin Sugar Diaz.
Honestly, Baz, that's a really good question. It's a tough question. And it's tough to think about. But I think, again, I think situations where the Mets are losing, I think he pitches, whether it's early innings or seventh, eighth inning. Don't put him in those pressure cooker type situations with runners on, or give him a fresh inning. Even if they're winning, which is barely this year, but even when they're winning, fifth, sixth inning would be something I would consider, because just to get his feel back, not so much pressure in terms of like having to have a 1, 2, 3 inning to win the game. He gives up a run in the fifth inning. The Mets can try to pick him up in the next 3 to 4 innings of the game left. But yeah, that's a really tough question in my eyes, though.
It's just so shitty. And then, from one World Baseball Classic brother to another, Francisco Lindor also struggling mightily. Yesterday, the series finale in Miami, he did go 2 for 4, but tonight threw up a clunker, 0 for 4. His batting average is 193. He's hit 7 home runs, has driven in 22, has 6 stolen bases, and has a 616 OPS. So I mean, it obviously looks like Lindor's pressing right now. He's frustrated with himself. He's mentioned that, and it's quite clear that he's pissed off, right? What do you think's the key to getting him back on track? Because to me, he's getting under everything, and anything inside, he's grounding over to the right side of the infield. He's swinging and missing a ton, especially on the changeups down, and he just seems late on everything. It almost seems like he's guessing up there at the dish, and I just I don't want to think that it's going to be a repeat of his first season with the Mets, but he's off to a really, really auspicious start.
But it's not just him. It's everybody. Nobody's hitting. So
Agreed.
I'm starting to think it's deeper than this.
Yes,
It's
100%.
it's Barnes, and who else is in charge? Eric Chavez. I think both of them gots to go. Uh,
No, I love it. I love
Are
it.
you calling
somebody,
Maddie? Are you calling for the firing of Eric Chavez and Jeremy Barnes?
I'm calling for a change of something.
I love it.
Dude, because their approach, every guy looks lost. And I feel like that's a deep rooted issue. Like, it's not each person, because we've seen these guys hit before.
Yeah, no, true. And Boz, the only reason I'm reacting like this, like laughing my ass off right now, is because what's it called? A typical like coaching parent that just like, oh, it's the coaches, it's not us. And meanwhile, it's like, like it's the whole lineup, 1 through 9. It is. I mean, Bader's starting to heat up. Martinez is hitting, but like, bro, like Marte getting ejected today for striking out looking, like Nimmo hitting 200. Like, it's not just Lindor again, and
No,
and
I
Lindor
know.
needs help. He needs protection. I'm sure if he had Soto, Stanton, and whoever the hell else is in that lineup, he'd be
Judge.
hitting better than 180.
Yeah.
But again, I agree. He's just guessing up there. I feel like he's just putting too much pressure on himself. He's trying to be too pull side happy when he's batting left-handed. He's trying to hit too many home runs when he's batting left-handed, causing him to fly out, pop out lazy because he's front side is opening up too early. But yeah, I do also agree to spark a team is to fire somebody. And we gotta fucking fire Jeremy Barnes and Eric Chavez because
I
we
think
haven't hit a lick since the beginning of the season.
I think firing Eric Chavez would piss the players off big time.
Definitely, definitely. And then they start hitting, and maybe Jeff goes back to his old ways, and Pete starts hitting
Oh,
gap to gap,
yeah.
and Nimmo starts getting on base more.
Yeah, I listen, I concur with both you guys. It's definitely 1 through 9. Nobody's hitting. The only guy that is the most recent addition in JD Martinez, who will most likely not be a Met within the next 2 months. Um, he's almost like I don't know if this reminds you, I mean, it's to a much lesser extent, but this JD Martinez stint, knowing that he's gonna be dealt, it's kind of reminding me of Justin Verlander's tenure with the Mets. You know, he was injured for the first part of the season,
Yeah.
comes back, makes what 12 to 16 starts for the Mets, 17 starts, whatever it was. May have been less. I have no idea. It seems like a far distant memory. But it almost seems like that. But while we're on the topic, right, Lindor hitting 193. I agree. It is the entire lineup. Um, Pete Alonso after tonight is hitting 235. Oh boy.
I'd love to hear this.
Dude, top to bottom, it's a mess.
Jeff Mc
And
Jeff
like,
McNeil, 233. Brett Beatty, who for some reason, I don't give a shit if there's an ambidextrous pitcher on the mound. I want to see Mark Vientos out there. Brett Beatty's hitting
Yeah.
228. OPS is 611. The only guys that are hitting are Mark Vientos, who Vientos on the season, again, granted 21 at bats, he's hitting 333 with a dinger and 4 ribbies. And then also JD Martinez, as we mentioned, who now 77 ABs on the year, hitting 312 with 2 home runs and 9 RBIs. The offense is pathetic, and I agree. Somebody should be fired.
somebody should very much be fired. And it's crazy how much money we have invested into some of these guys. It's honestly quite sickening. It's like McNeil has done shit all fucking season.
No,
And then we invested 8 years, 162 million into Brandon Nemo. I love Brandon Nemo and I always will. But dude, in 3 or 4 years, that contract might look awful.
I'm gonna
Because
give
what's he gonna play? We're
yeah.
gonna have like Gilbert. We're gonna have young guys. He's gonna be like he's gonna be a 20 million a year DH in probably like 2 to 3 years.
Yeah. I mean, no, listen, I think Nimmo is going to be able to be a corner outfielder for the next several years. I just hope
yeah.
I just hope that the offense, can, I hope that just the offensive piece to his game can continue to stay afloat. But I'm going to give him, I'm not as hard on Nimmo this year because when you look up and down the lineup, a 7.7 OPS looks like gold, to the Mets, unfortunately, the way that
Yeah.
everybody's hitting, like he's got an OPS of 770, 360 on base percentage, slugging 410. He does have 7 home runs, so he's on pace for over 20, has driven in 29. Think about it. And most of the time he's leading off. And he's driven in 29 runs. He's also hit 8 doubles and he has scored 26 runs. So to me, Nimmo gets a bye, but you know, Lindor will be okay as well, but I just when you look at an Alonso and I know that he has 10 home runs, 35 RBIs, whatever, but when you look at Alonso and McNeil and Beatty and a Marte, right? It's played out to an extent that the guys are just underperforming so much that there's no margin for error. And right now, no one can pick each other up, whether it's the pitching to the offense or vice versa. And the offense seems to be letting everybody down because, even when they score, it seems like the pitching digs them a hole and then they have to dig out of it and then they can't dig out. It's just all a shit show. It's a fucking mess.
Well, yeah, exactly. A shit show is putting it nicely. I mean, again, it's not the way. again, obviously you're not hitting, you're not doing the necessary things in order to score, but it's like the way we're giving up runs too is abysmal. Like Harrison Bader missing cutoffs, like not playing good defense. On the base paths today, Marte hits one back to the pitcher. JD Martinez gets caught up between second and third, and then they double up Marte because he's trying to take second. It's like silly shit like that, right?
Exactly. It's
And,
like they don't know the fundamentals, and it just
exactly. And you saw
sloppy.
that a little bit in the beginning too, like Harrison Bader hitting a double down the line or like a one hopper off the wall at Citi Field against the Brewers gets thrown out at second. Like, silly shit like this, right? Not throwing anyone out from when they're stealing a base, like that's pivotal. That's pivotal pieces of the game, and the fact that the Mets are just excelling on silly errors and just having to see it every other game, it's bad, man. Even the starting pitching, it's just a lot of walks, a lot of walks. That's why they can't get past 5 innings. And again, just kind of the opposite of what, not to bring up his name, but what Buck Showalter preached in 2022. Knowing the rules, playing, doing the fundamental things, doing the little things in order to get a run in, scoring in the first inning, not letting other teams, score in the first 3 innings, winning divisional games. Like,
Well, they fucked up the divisional games by making everybody play everybody. So now, we barely see the Phillies and we barely see the Braves. So it's hard to take advantage. But I agree. I agree. And it's extremely frustrating to kind of watch play out. And we can only hope that they right the ship. Matt, I just want to mention, Rob mentioned the word Excel. That made me think of Microsoft Excel. And you were right, dude. I'm sorry, everybody. I'm getting adjusted to a new computer. Microsoft Edge sucks. Oh my gosh. Nothing's
So
nothing's
bad.
working. Wow. That's why it brings
Dude,
me
it's
to
the
Bing every
worst. It's
time.
the worst browser, dude. Your Microsoft Edge is just as bad as Jose Quintana.
Why are we picking on Jose?
You fucking hate Jose Quintana.
I
You're
do.
you're you're at the top of his hate list.
I know.
I can't believe he started opening day though.
I know. Dude, so many pitchers have started opening day for the Mets. It's like
I'm curious to know if we'll be able to, get anything for him at the deadline.
who?
Quintana.
Absolutely not. Why would we get anything for Jose Quintana? Aside from like
Exactly.
like a chopped cheese or
Bag of
some shit.
chips. Yeah, literally like that.
A
I don't
a
know.
hundred
That
dollar
just sounds
voucher,
worth.
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
City Field food.
A pick five. Yeah. Like
Like,
nothing.
oh, like taking a look at the Mets payroll sometimes is just disgusting how they allocated 7 million to Omar Narvaez, 13 to Quintana, 10.5 to Bader, 20 to Nemo. You wanna know who I really like on this team? Tyrone Taylor.
Me too.
Me too. Or me three, I guess.
I
I
like
think they
Bader
should start giving
too,
him
man.
more
And I hate to say it, I like Bader. I know I should talking before, but I like Bader when he hits.
and Adrian Hauser's a bomb.
Oh, he sucks.
Who's a bum? Oh, Adrian Hauser, yeah. And he's starting
Adrian
tomorrow.
He's not good.
I mean, listen, I could go through the
You're gonna lose.
just go to the active roster. Okay. Depth chart.
Yeah.
Quintana sucks. Severino. Okay. Manaya.
Good.
Okay. Hauser sucks. McGill up and down. Got to stop trying to
Look at
throw.
my
Always hurt.
Christian Scott, good but young. Edwin Diaz, terrible right now. Adam Ottavino. Oh my gosh. Adam Ottavino, good. Jorge Lopez, okay, good. Beekman, good. Reed Foley, good. Reed Garrett, good. Josh Walker sucks. Narvaez sucks.
He's bad.
Josh Walker had a good outing today.
I don't care. I don't care. I don't like him.
Narvaez is the biggest waste, dude. His salary 7 million. We should send 6.9 and just get rid of him. Send him to the Ducks.
He blows. Everyone goes to the Ducks for you, Matt. I know.
I love it.
I know. Tomas Nido sucks, even though he's hitting 241 and he was responsible for the
He hit a
lone
home run.
run tonight.
He's better than Narvaez, honestly.
Yeah, 100%. I'd rather see Nito every day than Narvaez.
Literally, and I agree.
Me three.
He's hitting 240. That must be a career high.
Yeah, no,
Probably.
no. Nito is much better than Omar Narvaez. How can
Bro,
Nito
we
Nito?
paid we
Give my
paid
boy
we
some
paid
love, bro.
Julio.
He's 240. That must be a career high, bro.
Hear
Yeah,
this, we paid Julio Tehran $80,000 for his one start this year.
Dude, that was what were we thinking?
He got
What
an
were we thinking?
$80,000 check just for
Pitch
pitching
2 innings.
fucking 3 innings.
Pitch 2 innings, bro. Fuck out of here. 3 innings. Two
Zach
innings.
Short took us for 120K. Phil Bickford took us for
Now he's on the Braves,
220K.
bro. He's living life, bro. Zach Short's living life now. He's like, word, this how it feels to win?
yeah. I
James
mean,
McCann got an $8 million check from the Mets this year.
Bobby Bonilla. Yeah, we can go on. You know what I mean? Like we can go on for a minute. Uh, Alonso,
Oh man. I didn't
Stewart,
I didn't know
McNeil
we
sucks.
paid Fujinami 3.35 mil.
Yep, and
Damn.
Dude,
he's
his
on the
ERA is
IL,
like 13 in AAA.
and he's on the IL.
Damn.
And now he's on the IL, bro. Like, what? You can't make this up.
What?
You can't make this up, bro. Like,
Brooks Raley's probably
bad
done for the
luck.
year.
Yeah, Brooks Raley's probably done for the year. Yeah.
Should have traded him last deadline.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, from guys that we know are going to be dealt, what do you think we can get for Pete Alonso?
I was thinking about that the other night. I don't know. A lot of people think that we're gonna have a hard time like getting like one or two top 100 prospects.
No,
But
no,
if we're gonna get anybody for him, I'd hope that they're like I don't want low A ball guys. I want like MLB ready talent, like
yeah,
AAA.
Now Stearns, he'll find the right deal.
Dude, I would love, like I've said, I would love to see them call up Seattle and see what one of their young pitchers they'd willing to talk about, like Brian Wu, somebody,
Bryce Miller.
Bryce Miller.
Yeah,
Like
I,
they got, and maybe if they want that big jolt, that big bat. But it'll be interesting to see how it unfolds, to see who's buyers, who's sellers.
yeah, and then
Did anybody think that the Oakland Athletics would have a better record than the Astros?
no, right?
Like,
No,
it's
and
crazy.
that's the thing. It's like, Alonso right now, obviously not having his greatest year, slugging, I mean, has a OPS of 763, 10 home runs, 23 RBIs, 235 average. But there are several teams that are in the mix, and because of the expanded playoffs, you have to think that more teams are going to buy. And right now, people are talking about the wild card for the Mets, and I just want to tell them all to shut up because it's disgusting, just disgusting to even
Mhm.
talk about it. But
We're
I
only
agree.
3 games out, guys.
All right, I don't want to hear it. But
But
I
but dude, I don't buy that because our product on the field is just so bad.
I
Like
know, dude.
it, like even the greatest turnaround ever, I still just don't think the pieces are in place to win past a wild card round.
oh, absolutely not.
You never know. I want to be optimistic, Met fan. I love the Mets, but like it's just you see it, bro. Like like you said, the product isn't correlating, isn't working. So
No. And you look at some of the teams, like obviously the Yankees are having a great year. The Orioles are 2 games behind them, but the Orioles are going to be buyers. The Rays and Red Sox, they're a half a game apart. They're both over 500 or at 500. So, one or two of them will be buying. The Royals are 10 games over 500, right? So maybe they're buying.
Yeah.
The Guardians are in first place there.
That's
The Twins are 2 games over. You mentioned the Mariners. The Rangers are right there. The Mets can go ahead and dabble with some teams, and the Cubs are another one. Maybe
yeah. The
maybe
Cubs have
Stearns.
a really good farm system, so
Yeah, yeah. And you know what? Another thing too is, we have seen the Mets go ahead and trade players 1-for-1 before when it comes to a prospect. And obviously we don't want a low A prospect like when we got Zach Wheeler, but like when we traded Beltran for Wheeler, like, the Mets could, let's say the Tigers are in it. And I'm just using this as an example because I think I used it last week when the Tigers were more relevant, but like, who knows? Maybe the Tigers would be like, yeah, we'll give up Jackson Jobe for Pete Alonso. 1-for-1, boom, done. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
and again, I'm just using that as an example, but I think that would be a win for anyone because the Mets get, uh, you know, someone who they think is going to be at the top of the rotation for years to come, and you know, yeah, I don't know. What do you guys? What about JD Martinez? I think with Martinez, you're looking at maybe like a team's maybe one or two of a team's top 10 to 15 prospects, but not within the top 100. Especially considering
Yeah, yeah.
he's older. Yeah, I'm thinking like two players, you know, within the
But
team's top 15 or
what
something
you
like
have to
that.
think with what you have to think with JD is like half when we trade him, all of his money was pretty much deferred. So like they're gonna be whoever's getting him is getting like a player for free almost, but
Pretty much,
that's
yeah.
how you have to get good compensation for prospect wise. That's why I would be all over the Baltimore Orioles farm system.
Yeah, so you kind of have the
Yeah,
ball in your court. You use that leverage.
yeah, for
Hmm.
sure.
That's a good call. I didn't even think about that. And then you mentioned
Yeah.
Severino, Manaya. Anyone else that you consider dealing right now? I mean, obviously not right now because
Like
the Mets
Sean
aren't
Reed
trading.
Foley, I'd
Yeah,
consider.
Adam
He's always
Ottavino.
either hurt. Right now he is.
Ottavino, Bader.
Yep.
Hater.
Yeah, I'd hold on to
Um,
I'd hold on I'd hold on to Tyrone Taylor.
McNeil,
I'm not getting
Marte.
rid of Tyrone Taylor. Nobody's gonna touch McNeil.
I
He's
wouldn't
owed
touch him with a
15
10-foot
million. We'd
fucking
probably
pole.
have to attach a prospect to move his
Beatty,
money.
Mendoza.
No, no, no. I like Mendoza.
Yeah. I mean, anyone with trade value, honestly, that's gonna help us and bring back a couple prospects.
I would love to find a team that has a starting pitcher that has 2 years left on the deal, that's not looking good, or that's making substantially more money than Jeff McNeil, and just trade him and get rid of him. Like a team that wants a contact oriented hitter where the Mets can take on another bad contract and it could be like a switch. Just
Yeah.
McNeil to me he just pisses me off so much. Ever since he became more pull happy, he's blown. Does not use all fields any longer, and he's not reliable. Point blank.
He's cooked. We should have traded him at his peak.
I
He was
know for
he
who.
Yeah, it's like he won the batting title and
when
stopped
he
hitting
when
after
he
that.
won the batting title before he signed his deal and he was still had a year of arbitration left. We would have gotten probably two top 100 prospects at least for him.
Yeah, I mean, look what Luis Ariz is netting. You know, like
So that'd be quite interesting. I don't know what the fuck the Padres are doing, dude. They're literally they acquire Juan Soto for what turns out to be a king's ransom. That's a hell of a return for the Washington Nationals.
I mean, it's paying off. Look at CJ Abrams.
well,
Is
AJ
CJ
Preller.
Abrams, Josiah Gray, or not
No,
Gray
Josiah Gray
wasn't a
was,
part of that.
yeah.
Mackenzie
Yep,
Gore,
yep.
he was a part of that. Then you have James Wood, Robert Hassell, the prospect guys.
Well, you have
Then
to.
after that, you lose Soto, you trade him to the Yankees. The Yankees absolutely fleece them with what they sent them.
Michael King's
So,
nasty though.
that's it though. And then they sent Drew Thorpe that prospect, and then they immediately sent him for Dylan Cease. And I mean Cease is playing good right now, but who knows?
Yeah.
MLB's crazy.
Oh, okay. Well,
Very
this
eventful episode.
what?
Very eventful episode.
Oh, always is. But this one, we're kind of like,
Yeah.
this one, it's kind of like no, we know that we suck, and now we can kind of talk about, okay, moving things forward. There's some positive momentum going on in the farm system, but how can we get better moving forward? And then obviously just talking about the shit that's been going on. Just a quick glance at the standings. Don't want to, but I told myself I would. The Mets sit in third place at 21 and 26, 12 and a half games back of the Phillies, who are 34 and 14. And they are 2.5 games out of a wild card. Somehow it just shows you how much ugh, how anyone can just make the fucking playoffs. They're just behind the Padres, who are 25 and 25. And then just looking ahead for the Mets, they play two more in Cleveland tomorrow night, 6:10 start Eastern time. It'll be Oh, geez. I'm gonna need my blood pressure pills. It'll be Adrian Hauser taking on Carlos Carrasco, our former friend Cookie.
You can
Um,
always shell Cookie.
yeah, but the our Guardians can also always shell Hauser, so
Yeah.
it'll make for a 15 to
All right,
13 game
yo. Definitely bet a mortgage payment on the over for
on the
that one.
over. Yeah, the over is gonna be like
Watch it
14.
go. Watch it go under.
Yeah, right. They
Telling
both
Adrian
they both
Hauser goes eight innings, strikes out 10.
shut out. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And then on Wednesday afternoon, it'll be Jose Quintana, my favorite player in the world. He brings his lovely 1-4 and 5.21 ERA into the matchup, and he'll be opposed by Tristan McKenzie, who having another good season, 3.23 ERA, and 2-3 on the year. Gentlemen, any final notes before we wrap up episode 8 of season 3?
Nope, just if you haven't hopped into our giveaway for that beautiful London Mr. Met inspired bobblehead, be sure to check out our Facebook. Aside from that, Mets baseball has been pretty bad as of May 20th.
We have a Facebook.
What?
We
You
have
said
a
Facebook?
Yeah, we have a we have a
On our
Facebook.
on our Instagram.
I was gonna say I didn't know that.
MySpace too, bro. Don't forget that.
Yeah.
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 I have a message for the team though. My final message on the episode, is to the team. Boys, offensively, you need to start hitting. You need to stop striking out, and you need to freaking produce with runners in scoring position. On the pitching end, stop walking people. Hit your freaking balls off. Keep runners close, and god damn it, man, can we just get some competitive baseball, especially after a Knicks L in Game 7? New York sports is at a depressed state right now, so especially Met fans. So because the Yankees are playing great right now, but Queens, Long Island, we need y'all. Mets, wake the fuck up. I don't want to sell at the deadline, but if we have to, we will. So enjoy the moments now, and we'll see you in July. Well, hopefully, we'll see you at the end of the season because who knows if I'll even survive this season? Who knows, man?
Oh,
I might give
well,
up in June.
I think a lot of us may give up in June.
Yeah.
No, I agree. It's definitely been a rough one, and it's just kind of shitty how it's all played out since 2022. And again, hopefully the Mets can right the ship, but it's not going to be easy after Cleveland. They face the Giants for 3 at home, as well as the Dodgers at home for
Oof.
3, and the Diamondbacks at home. So
Might
that
go
should
0-9 on that West Coast trip.
yeah, that should make or emphasize break our season there. Yeah, so I just wanted to double down on what Matt said before. Make sure to tune into our Instagram. We have several more days to go in our London-inspired Mr. Met bobblehead giveaway. He's popping out of the little phone booth that you see in London town. Be sure to hop in that giveaway. You can get up to 3 spots. Just check the Insta post. And with that, follow us on Instagram, YouTube, and Twitter. We are at Cup of Mets. Make sure to subscribe to the podcast, whether it be on Spotify, Apple, or wherever you get your favorite podcasts. Show some love on the Cup of Mets website and get some of your favorite merch and apparel as the website is back up. And last but not least, be sure to download the SeatGeek app, punch in code Cup of Mets at first purchase to receive $20 off of your first purchase. For Matt DeSantis, Robert Venegas, I'm Ian Bosniak. Thank you again for joining us. Episode 8 is in the books. We'll see you next week. Take care, guys. Good night. It's the Cup of Mets podcast.